What do you do when the referee calls a double minor penalty? An example is when a player gets a double minor for roughing. Let's say the other team scores after 1/30 of the penalty has elapsed. That looks like this. If you're running the penalty clock, you should post the first penalty as 4 minutes. When the other team scores, the penalty clock would read 2:30 remaining. Because the first penalty has terminated, you need to change the penalty clock to read 2 minutes at that point and before play resumes. Delayed penalties occur when there are already 2 penalties being served by one team. When number 20 gets his penalty, his team is already 2 players short. That penalty does not start until number 3's penalty is over, and number 3 cannot go on the ice until his team is entitled to another skater. So this one may end up like this. The off-ice officials must be aware of the on-ice strength of the penalized team and only allow players to return during stoppages after their penalty has expired, or during play only when their team is entitled to an additional skater on the ice. The penalized players will return to the ice in the order in which their penalties have expired. As the example indicates, there were no whistles between 6:54 and 6:05. So number 3 returns at the first stoppage of play after his penalty expires, or when number 27's penalty expires and the team is entitled to another player on the ice, whichever comes first. Number 27 actually is released at the stoppage that occurs at 6:05, as that is the first stoppage after his penalty had expired. Finally, since number 20 is the only one left in the penalty bench and the team is still shorthanded by one player, he would return to the ice when his penalty expires or is terminated by a goal. Coincidental penalties occur when players from each team are assessed similar length minor, bench minor, or major penalties at the same stoppage of play. The referee will declare those penalties coincident. Coincidental penalties are not displayed on the penalty clocks. Be sure that you and the referee are in lockstep on this. The penalized players cannot return to the ice until the first stoppage of play following the expiration of their penalties. You may find it useful to write the return time on a sheet of paper or whiteboard and display it to the penalized players and to the penalty box attendant. Be sure to indicate that they must wait for a stoppage before returning. Misconduct penalties are 10 minutes in length and are not displayed on the penalty clocks. If a player receives additional minor or major penalties, they shall be served by a substitute, and the misconduct penalty does not begin to expire until all additional penalties have expired. Players serving misconduct penalties shall be alerted and released at the first stoppage of play after the penalty expiration. Here are some general guidelines and a review. Please don't use the on box as a workplace for the anticipated expiration. Use it for the actual expiration time. In all cases where a substitute serves a penalty, or in the case of a bench penalty, record the jersey number of the substitute in parentheses following the offense. Ensure that penalized players return to the ice at the proper time. If a mistake is made, inform the referees at the next stoppage of play. Penalty shot records shall include the number of the player who took the shot and the result, goal or no goal. This should be written in the penalty section of the score sheet. Also, record the goal normally, but no assists are allowed. Immediately advise the referee of any player receiving 5 or more penalties in one game. Here's an important note. Now that was all pretty complicated, and you may not have really understood all of it. There are many different penalty situations that require a complete and thorough knowledge of the rules. When in doubt as to the proper procedure regarding a particular penalty situation, be sure to ask the on-ice officials for a clarification prior to play resuming. This will help eliminate confusion or mistakes occurring as penalties expire and players expect to re-enter the game. Now for the last game time topic, goalkeeper stats. Record shots on goal for each goalkeeper on a scratch sheet. The definition of a shot on goal is a shot that would have entered the net without the goalkeeper's intervention. Any attempt resulting in a goal is a shot on goal. Any attempt that hits a goal post or crossbar is not a shot on goal unless it deflects directly into the net. At times, your view may be blocked, so all on the scorer's bench need to cooperate on this. Give the players the benefit of the doubt when it's too close to call. Goalie statistics depend heavily on the scorer recording what and when things happen during the game. Minutes played are an important statistic, and obviously shots on goal and saves are important as well. There are 4 columns for each team's goalie stats. The first column is for the jersey number of the goalie. Record the starting goalie's jersey number on the left side of the slash mark. When a team changes goalies during a period, record the substitute goalie's jersey number on the right side of the slash mark. When goalies change, it should be noted at what period and time the change took place in a blank area of the score sheet. An example might read, Bulldogs number 30 in at 5:13 of second for number 1. Be sure to capture the shots and saves for the starting goalie and record them on the left side of the boxes, leaving room on the right side for the substitute goalie's shots and saves at the end of the period. If a team had 17 shots on goal in a period and 2 were goals, that means the goalie had 15 saves. That is entered on the sheet as a 17 in the shots column and a 15 in the saves column. The most common mistake is not noticing when goalies change. If you really do miss the change, perhaps the coach of that team can help you at the end of the game. Well, we've gotten through the whole game and now it's time to finish up the score sheet. By the end of the second period, you should have lined out players rostered but not present at this game. This is to avoid crediting a player with a game not played. Often eligibility for playoffs is based on a minimum number of games played. Stickers present a particular problem here, as all 4 pages need to be lined out. Ensure that the penalty records are complete, and be sure that all times are recorded. Total up the goals and indicate the final score. Total up the goalkeeper's shots and saves. Do not line out any unused areas of the score sheet. The referees will do this. Lastly, sign and print your name legibly. You are proud of your work, aren't you? Advise the referees of any team receiving 15 or more penalties in one game. Their coach will get a game misconduct. Present the score sheet to the on-ice officials for their signatures and game comments if applicable. If there have been incidents during the game that resulted in game misconduct or match penalties, the referees may take the score sheet to the dressing room for discussion and verification of rule numbers used in assessing the penalties. Wait until they are finished and be sure they have kept their copy, the gold or bottom one. Distribute the other copies, pink and yellow, to each coach and submit the original white top copy to the proper authority. This will depend on which rink you're in and what association is responsible for the game. A few words about announcing and announcements. Events such as goals, assists, penalties, and other pertinent game information should be announced to the people in the rink as soon as practical, generally after resumption of play, in order to minimize distractions for the players and officials. An important consideration for your listeners is to speak clearly and slowly enough to be understood. It's very annoying to have an important announcement come over the PA system garbled or unintelligible. Prior to the start of the game, your association may require you to make special announcements pertaining to sportsmanship or safety aspects of the rink. When announcing goals and assists, it is important to only announce those players who are actually credited with them by the referee. When announcing penalties, report all information as given by the referee. If music is played during stoppages, be certain to halt the music when the puck drops. Do not offer running commentary on the game, and do not allow your personal opinion to affect the manner in which announcements are made, especially if it reflects on the game officials. As a successful off-ice official, you should always be legible, always be impartial, always be attentive to the game, always be part of the officiating team, always consult with the referee if you are unsure of how to proceed. Always remember, the referee is in charge of all that concerns the game. Always respect all game participants. Always inform the referee if a mistake has been made. As an off-ice official, you should never second-guess or criticize the on-ice officials. Never openly cheer for any team. Never guess about penalty expirations. Never use tobacco or alcohol on the scorer's bench. As an off-ice official, you should strive to learn more about the rules of the game according to the USA Hockey Rulebook, especially penalty procedures, hockey terminology, referees' signals, the operation of your arena's game clock and public address system. Thanks for watching, and enjoy your time in the scorer's bench.